Hail to the Redskins.
Oh, that looks, yeah.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
Call the meeting to order, and I ask that you please mute your computers. I'll ask you to unmute your mic when there's a spot in the program that we need you to unmute. We will be led in music by Pam Tubbs.
And let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, that's great. All right.
I
So,
don't know how to unmute.
okay, phone beginning. What we're going to do is a classic holiday song. And I know that everybody has their own favorite holiday song. And Bob, I know that you'll join me if you are on mute. And Bernie, if you could mute yourself. It's important that everybody mutes him or herself when we start singing. Otherwise, it's cacophonous. Trust me, I know this.
Well, I don't know how to do
So
that.
the classic holiday song that
I don't
I
know how
picked
to
for us to sing
unmute,
today
and they're asking
is
everybody to do that.
Jingle Bell Rock. Is everybody ready?
Oh, the muting was when you.
Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing up over
I
the
want quiet a little bit.
now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime and jingle bells time. Prancing and prancing up Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air, what a bright time, it's the right time to rock the meadow. Jingle bell time is a swell time. We're going riding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock. It's a jingle and a jingle beat. There's the jingle bell, there's the jingle bell, there's the jingle bell rock.
One. That was awesome, Pam. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Do you have another one for us, Pam?
Actually, I thought we'd only have time for one, so why don't we let Bob sing Feliz Navidad for us?
I think that's a great idea. Bob, you still ready?
I would love that. And since Rotary is international, Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much, Bob. I appreciate it, and the whole club appreciates it. And now, if you will please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Hold on 1 second. Let me just let me get the right thing up here. I apologize for this. Just give me 1 second. Okay, well, we're not going to have the flag, so I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now our four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? And Bob, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Julie Kiesling will now lead us in our invocation.
I've selected an actual prayer by a man named Cesar Chavez, if you remember him, and I thought it was appropriate. Please, God, grant me the courage to serve others, for in service there is true life. Give me honesty and patience so that I can work well with other workers. Please help me take responsibility for my own life so that I can be free at last. And help us love even those who hate us so we can change the world. Amen.
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 Thank you very much. So Joe Massey is unable to join us today. He didn't have anything new to add to the visitation reports, but I do ask that you keep Lorna Cochran and her family in mind. Lorna's sister passed away yesterday in Canada. Lorna had gone up there on Friday to be with her, and in speaking or chatting with Lorna, they got to spend some wonderful quality time together before she passed. So please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Let's see. In some guests, we have Stan Tuberville. Stan, am I saying that correctly?
Pretty close. Turbaville.
Turbaville. Okay. And Stan is from TCC and is interested in becoming a Rotarian. He's been a Rotarian in North Carolina for a number of years. So welcome to our club, and we will get the information out to you and look forward to you joining us.
Thank you very much. I look forward to it.
Okay. Do we have any other guests with us today? Okay. Our school of the week is Larchmont Elementary School, and our rotation scribe for today is Walt Sobek. So please speak clearly when you need to.
Actually, it's me. Sally's the scribe. Sally's the scribe.
Okay,
I think. Unless we have two.
Walt?
Riches.
Either way, I was ready to be scribe, but Sal, if you want it, you got it.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Diana just told me today. So, okay, I'm happy. I'll continue on, give you a break.
We
Hey.
have two singers, we can have two scribes.
That's right. It's double day. It's bring a twin day.
It's wonderful. Well, thank you. We're just going to change some things up a little bit so that we keep all the business part of it together. So we have some, we're now moving on to fines and happy bucks. Most of you are aware this is how we raise some money for Norfolk Rotary Charities. And I'm going to start by fining Chris Bugg. He had an article in Inside Business. And Chris, I wanted to tell us something new about widgets that we don't already know.
Yeah, widgets are an important topic, as you know. And how much is the fine? You just tell.
I'm sorry. The fine because you got a really nice coverage in the paper is $10.
It was so good, I didn't know about it till you told me. I'll tell you.
Well, Chris, let me just tell you, a number of your fellow Rotarians made sure I knew about it.
Okay, well, I'll pay an additional $5 for everyone that reposts it on LinkedIn, and maybe I can be a Paul Harris fellow.
Well, that is good.
But
I also,
if you repost, you just let me know, and I'll chip in more.
fair enough. Fair enough. Anyone else have some good news or fellow Rotarians they'd like to turn in for something? I did notice, Marcia, I believe, were you on a radio show recently?
Yesterday, I was on the radio talking about the Reemploy Virginians, which is an opportunity for students to attend the community college and receive scholarship funds in the amount of up to $3,000. Persons who have been displaced due to COVID. Funds are available that were provided by the governor through CARES dollars. So yes, I did a brief talk, and also a student followed me.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Well, it's good. It's good. Nice to know that you're out there, and
Public service, no charge.
public service,
Well-
no charge. Okay, thanks,
Well,
Bob.
no, I'm happy to pay. I just don't know how to do the Happy Bucks, so I just need some help.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay, that'll cost you $5, and I'll
Okay,
I'll shoot you an email with how to do
Okay,
that.
as soon as you will, I'll pay it right. I'll pay it
Okay.
immediately.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
Copy me
Eleanor.
on that email, Jim. I wouldn't know how to pay a fine if I had to.
Okay.
All right.
Me too.
And maybe for that you have to, but we'll come back to that later. Eleanor.
Yes, I would like to pay another $5 for Marcia, whose information was there, and it's nice and big write-up down here. But I would like to congratulate her on one of the educators featured in this Virginia book.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Eleanor.
Barb Lipskis, did you have one also?
I was going to join Eleanor in paying $10 in support of the education effort.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Baranu.
And I will be the third to jump on that. I would like to give $10 in efforts of that. And another $10 to have successfully survived a car accident this week. So I'm just happy to be here with you all.
We are thrilled you are with us, and glad you came through that well. Just as a note, I will be shooting everyone an email today to talk about the different ways that you can pay fines or Happy Bucks. So just keep a lookout for that. We'll send that out today so everyone has that.
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
Steve Jones. I'd like to also chime in for $10 for Tidewater Community College. Marcia's done a wonderful job in terms of her leadership, and just that issue that she's working through with the city and with the grants for that proposed facility in the Neon district. I'm just so proud of how she's handling that, and I want to offer some funds just in support of her efforts.
Thank you, Steve. Marcia, you're getting glad I called you out on this, aren't you?
I am. After the week I had, I feel tremendously blessed right now. So thank you all.
Well, the one thing you can count on, Marcia, is that the club has your back.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else with some good news to share or Happy Bucks they'd like to share? Michael Des Plaines.
So it's not good news or Happy Bucks, but I guess if I have to ask the club for something on behalf of my business, I have to pay a fine. Is that how that works?
That is very true, sir.
Okay, so we are looking, the garden was gifted boards from a over 300-year-old oak tree that we're going to use in new construction that will start next year. They have been curing on site in Virginia Beach for over a year, and now is the point where the boards have to come indoors to cure for another year. They are huge. They are 21 feet long by 4 feet wide. We have 3 stacks of them, and the stacks are 5 feet tall. So essentially, I need a garage or a warehouse or something that could hold these for probably a year, because we probably won't need them so for another year. Does not have to be heated. Obviously, it should be secure so no one can steal them. Although I don't know who would want to steal a 20-foot by 4 feet board. So think about it. Get back to me if you have any leads. I've already contacted the city and the Navy and some other people. So, but someone's got to have a big old garage or a warehouse somewhere.
Michael, it doesn't need to be heated. Can it go in a shipping container that's airtight?
Oh yeah, I guess it could. Yeah, as long as it would fit. 21
I have a
21 by 4, 5 feet high, and I've got 3 of them. That's not a bad idea.
I have a 40-foot shipping container. We can put them in.
All right, I'm going to talk to you, Jeff Wells.
Okay.
How much do I owe for that, President Jim?
You know, it's for a really good cause. We'll fine you $5 for that.
Okay, I will Venmo.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else out there?
I've got an unsponsored announcement or fine thereof. You can tell me how much. Our friend Kenny, who spoke to us, they've been really hit hard down in South Africa. They're pretty industrialized, so they're really dependent on travel, and plus because of travel, COVID's hit them particularly hard. And he's doing some work for some nonprofits that are trying to do food, toys, and school uniforms for kids. So if you want to help out, let me know. So I'll pay a fine for that. And then I got Happy Bucks to beat Army. Happy Bucks.
Well, okay, wonderful. Well, I have Happy Bucks for the Army-Navy game also, which in an unsolicited manner, just so you all know, is this Saturday at 3 o'clock. And for the first time since the 1940s, it's actually going to be played at my alma mater at West Point this year. It's considered neutral territory, sort of, but it's actually one of the only places in the nation where both student bodies are going to be able to attend the game. So, Army Navy this Saturday at 3 p.m. If you're an ESPN fan, College Game Day will be starting at 9 o'clock from the campus. So, so tune in to America's Game, and I have Happy Bucks for that, and as usual, have some wagering online with some of our fellow Naval Academy graduates and Naval Academy or Naval Officer alumni. So I have Happy Bucks for that also.
Jim?
Yes.
This is Lois, and
hey, Lois.
Speaking of competition, what you just announced prompts me to offer Happy Bucks because the women's basketball team at ODU beat VCU in overtime this past Sunday, and it was very exciting to see.
Wow.
Oh, Lady Monarchs.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Anyone else? Okay, well, let's move along to our business meeting. The first thing I had sent out in emails to all the members the proposed slate of directors and officers for 2021-22. And sort of what we're going to do is Pam Tubbs is going to present them to us. And then we will also solicit nominations from the floor if there are any. And if there's not, what we'll go ahead and we'll do a vote where we basically approve the slate. So at this point, I'm just going to turn it over to Pam Tubbs to introduce the slate for 2021-22. Pam.
Thanks very much, President Jim. Can you see my screen?
Certainly can.
Okay, great. Well, it is my honor, and thank you for giving me this job, which is great, of introducing people who actually need no introduction, except to say that they are all wonderful, and I feel so good about the direction our club is going and will be going in the future, thanks to the leadership of these wonderful people who raised their hand and said, yes, I will serve. So first of all, we have our immediate past president, Jim Kitts, who is, I know, a tough vote, but and we have our president next year, Michael Displains. Our president-elect will be Laurie Harrison, vice president, Jeff Wells, and secretary treasurer, Barbara Lipskis. We have directors who will serve a year on the board of directors, assuming that you accept them. And Bryce Burton, and I apologize for the typeface. For some reason, your name got small, but you're definitely just as big as all the other directors. Bob Ash, Chris Bugg, Bryce Burton, John Cameron, Dave Duncan, Brian McGuire, and Michelle Nettles. Thank you all. And parliamentarian, I want to thank Tom Ambler for raising his hand and staying on as parliamentarian. I know he's been a great help to you, Jim, as he was to me. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
there you are. There's your slate.
Okay. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Pam. And if you could just, well, let me ask, are there any nominations from the floor? And I ask that if you have some, that you speak up. I'm scrolling through a bunch of, everyone's pictures, and I don't see any, but are there any nominations from the floor for the officers and directors? Okay, then hearing none, I would like to post a poll, and the poll is, are you in favor of the directors and officer slate as presented to the membership? It's an anonymous poll, but we are tallying the responses. And so here it is. And if you can just answer and let us know, we'll move forward from there. Okay, we still have a few that haven't voted. Just give you a couple more seconds. All right, well, thank you very much. I will tell you that it is overwhelmingly in favor, and we appreciate your participation in this, and I will let you know that here's the results as we have them. We did receive a few votes via email and telephone also that need to get added to this, but they were all in the approval column. So thank you and congratulations to our board of directors for 2021-22. And Barb Lipskis, thank you very much. It's a nice commitment that you've made, and look forward to your leadership down the road. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, next we're going to move on to, there were some revisions to the club bylaws that were sent out, and I'm going to ask for Tom Ambler to give a little presentation on that. So Tom, you have the floor.
All right, thank you, Jim. First, for the record, I'm going to say that we have the required quorum well over the required quorum of a third of our membership for this meeting. And the second thing is that I want to thank Lorna Cochran, who took the laboring oar on these bylaw changes. And finally, third, it is as Jim and Lorna said last week, which is that most of the changes that were made are aimed at making the bylaws ones that will allow our club to function efficiently during the pandemic, or any pandemic, but like the one we're in. There's also a few small typo corrections in the changes, and that's all there is. There's nothing. That's all. Nothing really exciting here. It just makes us able to function better as a club during this pandemic. That's it, Jim.
Okay. Are there any questions? You've They were sent out about a week ago. Are there any questions on the changes to the bylaws? Any discussion? Eleanor?
I think it was the first section where perspective or potential or whatever, the word used implied that the Rotaractors and the E-clubs and the Interactors were not really clubs, but they were potential or something like that. I didn't know why. Just the language. The concept is fine, except that I don't understand.
Tom, do you have any input on that?
That was something that probably was done by Lorna, but I would say that we don't necessarily have all these clubs, so it probably was put in there because it's not, we may or may not have some of the ones that are defined there.
Okay, sure.
I have another thing that I wanted to bring up. It says that the Rotaract Club needs to be between the ages of 18 to 30. And I had heard that that was going to be changed at the convention this summer. So is there a way to just take out the ages and just leave Rotaract and leave the description as, per like Rotary International guidelines and just take out the age?
Well, but the current Rotaract age is 18 to 30.
If that's what it is, then I have nothing, then that's fine.
Yeah. But if it's going to change, I think maybe we address that if in fact it does.
Fine,
And
that's
it sounds
fine.
like it probably will. Okay.
Okay.
Something to do next year.
There we go. Keeping your parliamentarian employed.
Sounds good.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion on the bylaw changes? I do appreciate the questions. It shows me you're paying attention. Okay, if no other questions or comments on it, I am going to ask that we, hold on a second, stop sharing. Let me go to poll number 2. And this is basically, do you approve the presented revisions to the Rotary Club of Norfolk bylaws? So please give us your vote. Okay, just give a couple more minutes. All right. Well, thank you. This passed unanimously here. And when I add in the other ones that I received either by email or telephonically, this passed unanimously, which is great. Thank you very much. And thanks for your questions and thanks for your consideration of this. Next, we're going to move on to a financial review, which will be presented by Gus Stuhlreier.
Thank you, Jim. Jim has the information. He's going to we're going to try and coordinate putting this up on the screen, but really I just have 4 or 5 points I want to make concerning what is going on. First of all, Jim, if you put up Rotary Club in Norfolk 2020 versus 2019.
Okay, give me 1 second. Rotary Club of Norfolk as in budget?
Yeah, 2000, as long as it's 2020 versus 2019.
No, hold on. I got that. Hold on. Versus 2019. Mm. Someday I'll get better at this. Sorry, folks.
No worries, you're better than 95% of us.
You know, it's they don't all stay where I expect
Yeah, I
them to be.
know. That's what Jim, what I'd like to suggest is you and I can work on putting this in a packet or a zip file or whatever, and we can send out a copy to everybody. It's not necessary really to see the numbers, just to give some of the highlights. The first highlight or comment I'd like to make is that the new economic dues-based model is working. As you recall, when we did the budget for this year, we took out all meals, prepaid meals, as well as the cost for meals, adjusted the dues accordingly, so we would reach at least a break-even point for the year. And so far that has been a success. We've been able to maintain our commitments to Rotary International, as well as our commitment to both Lisa and Ann as our two staff people who help us. And right now I would project that we will end the year break even to a slight surplus. So that's for this year budget versus not budget, but actual of this year versus actual of 2019. As we look at budget, again, budget versus actual, with the new model, we're tracking just as we thought we would. And in terms of the balance sheet from Rotary Club in Norfolk, somewhat old history, but just to acknowledge that we did finally get the $50,000 from Rotary Club in Norfolk moved over to Norfolk Rotary Charities, and I will make another comment about that in a few minutes. But that's as I said, the important thing is that the new model that we put together, the dues-based model, appears to be working. And when the day comes that we can all go back to Scope or wherever and sit down and break bread and do it together, shoulder to shoulder, we will come up with a model that fits that. But in the meantime, it's a dues-based model without any inclusion of meals money or meals expense.
Any questions or comments?
Jim, I'd like to make a comment relative to this. Gus has served as our treasurer and for a number of years, and I have total confidence in what he does. And this is a great service to our club and the community by doing it as diligently as he does. And from my perspective, I sure as heck wouldn't want the job. And I appreciate very much somebody that does. So Gus, thanks a lot for doing what you do to Rotary. Very meaningful.
Thank you for the comment. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
Any other questions about Rotary Club of Norfolk financials? There being none, I am going to move on to Norfolk Rotary Charities. Again, with Norfolk Rotary Charities, we were hoping to have some events this year. We had hoped that maybe we might get the Growl Fest in, but so far no events. So there's really not been much in the way of activity. The good news is though, as I mentioned before about Rotary Club of Norfolk, we got 50,000 moved over to Norfolk Rotary Charities. That now gives Norfolk Rotary Charities $140,000 in readily accessible liquid assets that we can use at any time during the pandemic where we feel there's a need. We also will probably be using some of it to make our annual round of contributions that will be determined by the grants committee. There's a formula for that, but that formula is not going to get us anywhere near where we have been in the past year or two, which is up in the low to mid 40s. The formula this year will probably get us somewhere around, mid 30s at best. So we might be using some of that, or there might be a real, need. As the talking head said on Sunday that I watched, the worst is yet to come. So there may be some role we as the Rotary Club in Norfolk can find to play. Just a sidelight, I assume when all the announcements were made or all the hoopla about handing out the turkeys and the Thanksgiving meals over at Military Circle, that was the project that we were involved in that Saturday, right, Jim?
Yes, we were actively involved in that. We were.
I hope all of you saw all the news we got, because it really made you proud to be a Rotarian, to be part of that and all that was going on, and just the massive humanity that showed up in need.
It was, we became experts at traffic control, and all the Rotarians who were there can certainly attest to that. But it was a wonderful day, a heartwarming day. And it was Rotarians, and actually it was a number of groups throughout the Hampton Roads area who participated. Yeah.
So anyway, for Norfolk Rotary Charities, their work is yet to be done. Michael Desplaines has assembled a committee. The grants committee will be taking applications and moving forward. And we will be making final decisions as at least what might be a target. And, there's been conversation at the board level already about, a whole bunch of small gifts, fewer but larger gifts. So issues like that will continue to come up, and we will continue to discuss them. But Norfolk Rotary Charities is on track as we thought, and we, with $140,000 in readily accessible and liquid assets, it puts us in a position that hopefully we can respond to the community needs.
Yeah. An example of one of the responses to the community needs from Norfolk Rotary Charities, and some of what we used some of the surplus for, and this really was towards the end of Lorna's presidency and the early part of mine, was we, if you recall, when we did the matching gifts from our membership to the food bank of Southeastern Virginia. That money came from Norfolk Rotary Charities. So, we're trying to be judicious in how that gets used, and also recognize that, there are some unusual needs out there right now. Gus, thanks again for all you do. Thanks again for keeping us on the right path, and included in the how to give Happy Bucks and fines, I will include a packet with all of the financials that are available. So, and if that elicits any questions, I'll include my email address, Gus's email address, and Jeff's email address. Okay, thank you.
Very good.
Thanks again, Gus. Now I'd like for Michael Desplaines to just talk a little bit about Norfolk Rotary Charities.
So I'll just piggyback on what Gus had to say. I think that moving the assets that we had into charities, giving us that $140,000 to distribute to the community in whatever way the club and the board feels is appropriate, I think is a good problem for us to have going forward. I expect to pull together the charities and grants committee after the holidays to start talking about this good problem to have. And then whether we, like Gus said, whether we keep to our traditional formula, which would give us the mid-30s, or would we go to the board and ask for some more money to get us to where we usually are, which has been recently in the last few years about in the mid-40s, to distribute to worthy groups in the community. For those newer to our club, those are done through a grant process. We have a very simple form. Any 501c3 nonprofit in our club area can apply, and then the grants committee selects based on those applications. The service areas are very broad. They encompass the environment, education, the arts, human services, and as long as I've been on the board and been involved with the grants committee, we've made sure that it's equally distributed amongst all of those different things, because all of those are what make Norfolk and our region so vibrant. I also want to piggyback or just elevate what Chick Robeson said. I know when I was treasurer on the board, there's no way I could have done that job without what Gus does behind the scenes. I mean, he really is sort of like the one-man treasurer volunteer of our organization, and having that person who knows numbers, who can look at them, make sure that our paid staff are doing what they should in regards to the numbers, as well as that continuity every year for the board and for the club is huge. It's sort of like having our own little CFO, and it's just spectacular. It's truly service above self. So I want to thank Gus for that.
All right, thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. And now,
I have a question.
yes.
When are because I've had some people approach me, when will the applications be available?
I'm planning to get the committee together after the holidays and have them ready late winter. I'm thinking like February.
Okay.
And when the timing, when they are ready, we'll make sure, that you guys know about it and that it'll be available on the website for you to send out. And this year, I think we're going to make it a little bit easier. If I'm not speaking out of line, Michael, we're going to try to make this as online a process as possible. I know in previous years we've asked them to like send in 5 copies, and what we realized last year was that if they could send us an electronic copy, the truth is it would make our lives a lot easier because that's really how we end up distributing it. So. We look forward to the opportunity to, engage with the community in this manner. And it's good that you're talking, Lori, because now if you can give us a little update on, maybe some upcoming programs that'll be happening, either next week or into the new year. Thank you.
I will give you a little snapshot of what's happening for a couple of months. Next week, Dr. Romero from EVMS will be speaking on COVID-19 and the stresses, the mental health stresses during the holidays, and really the mental health stresses that it's causing now and in the future. So it's a really interesting presentation. I've heard her give it before. In January, we're going to have Jeff Lawson, Chief Meteorologist from 13 News Now. Michael Benedetto is the owner of TFC Recycling, and he's going to give us a state of the recycling address. So that sounds riveting. Randy Wright and Dr. Patricia Turner, 2 worlds collide to form a lifelong friendship. I think they met in kindergarten, and they're going to tell their story. Terrence Affer Anderson, he's a healthcare media writer, producer, director, and he'll be speaking on the African-American prostate cancer disparity. Gary Ryan from the Virginia Museum of Contemporary Art is going to speak on their upcoming exhibit called Nourish. And it involves 12 artists and food experts, and they look and explore the possibilities of the intersection of food and art. So that sounds like fun. Lacey Weaver is going to be giving a program from the Hampton Roads Sanitation Department on their Suffolk facility that cleans 1 million gallons per day. And other programs at the Virginia Arts Festival, and of course the mayor, we're working on getting him to do the city address in April. But hopefully you've enjoyed the programs. If you have any suggestions or outstanding speakers that you'd like me to contact for the rest of the year, I have openings beginning, I guess, in April. Thanks.
Thank you, Lori. And again, as Lori, I'm just going to reiterate, as Lori mentioned, we are very open to hearing from you on topics that you would like addressed, or if you have specific speakers, we're very happy to try to accommodate that. And
Geez, we never gave Dad his legacy award.
Okay, so now just a little brief review of the year. One of the things that I talked about when we first got started, or when our Rotary year first got started, was my 2 main goals were for the was for the club to remain engaged with the community and for the club to remain engaged with our members. And, you know, one of the things that I think we've done a very, very good job on is staying engaged in the community. And I'd really, you know, here's a hat tip to Walt Sobek and Bill Eisenbeis. They've done a really good job of keeping us engaged with the community. We've had wonderful partnerships with the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia. We've had a wonderful partnership with Keep Norfolk Beautiful. We've had a couple of different engagements, and we have one coming up on the 17th with the Salvation Army, Norfolk Botanical Gardens, and the other thing that we did, which I think did a wonderful job of keeping us engaged with the community, was our EVMS mask project that Lori headed up for us. You know, and then we engaged in the social media aspect of that, also encouraging mask use. So, you know, I very much appreciate everyone's efforts and participation in those. I'll remind you about the gift distribution that is occurring on the 17th from noon to 5. Walt, can you just give us a couple of details on that?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's noon to 5. It's over in the Kempsville area of Virginia Beach. Most of the positions are going to be outdoors, so we're hoping for good weather. Masks are required, and right now we have 5 volunteers against the 8 slots we have applied for. So a few more volunteers would be helpful. If we get more than a few more volunteers, again, we can divide up those 5-hour slots into 2.5-hour, whatever we need to accommodate people's schedules. But it should be a great day, and we're looking to service about 6,200 children below the age of 12 over that 2-week period. So we just have a brief 5-hour period over that 2-week period. That's all we're trying to cover at this point, but it should be a good experience.
Yeah. And just so everyone knows, this is the COVID version of the event that used to take place in the old home quarters in the town center area. Right. So you know, that was always well supported by our club, and I hope you give it some strong consideration. The other thing I wanted to do was, you know, one of the goals was to remain connected with our members. And, you know, a couple of the things that I think are really pretty neat that have happened during this COVID time when it's been difficult to physically connect is I'm really proud that our meetings have become, I wasn't sure how to phrase it, but we've certainly broadened our geography. In the sense that our speakers are not just local who happen to be around and can come into our meetings, but we've had speakers from different continents, from different parts of the country. We've had everything from a comedian to Physicians for Peace in the Philippines to winemakers in the Charlottesville area, and that has really that I think has really broadened, you know, the scope of things that come to our membership. I'm really proud of the fact that there's a core of our members who have helped other members navigate the technology of engaging in these meetings. And I think that is really something special and is a testament to those folks' commitment not only to Rotary but to their fellow Rotarians. And I truly am thankful and congratulate those. We have attempted, I would say honestly, with varying success of trying to engage in person. And I say with varying success, circumstances have evolved positively and for a while and now negatively, which have really hindered our ability to do some things. But I'll also say the one time when we did try to do a hybrid meeting, it wasn't overly well attended in person. But I do believe we've done a pretty good job of trying to keep the Zoom meetings as engaging as possible. One other thing on connecting to members, I know that Joe Massey and his committee are in the process of reinstituting our phone tree. We had it initially after sort of the onset of the pandemic in order to keep engaged. And, there are some folks that quite frankly, we haven't seen in a while. And, some of them are intimidated by the technology. Some of them, it doesn't work into their schedule. So Joe and his committee are going to reinstitute the phone tree to engage with our members and make sure everyone's doing okay. That's really what I have from sort of my prepared remarks about the year. I would like to open it to our members. Comments, questions, suggestions, where no one has the monopoly on good ideas, and I'd love to hear from you.
Well, I'd like to say thank you, Jim, because you have done a great job in a very tough climate. And I think all of us, and especially those who've been president, really, truly appreciate what you're doing and the whole leadership of the board. So thank you. But what I am concerned about is some of the older members that used to come every week, we don't see them. So are they being targeted and contacted?
I would say that many of them are. There is a fair number. It's not an uncommon response to hear that they just don't like to Zoom. And we've offered assistance, we've offered help. There are certain people who just don't want to do it. So, I think the attempt has been made, and I think Joe is looking at even making that more of a formalized periodic attempt to engage. If it's not through the meeting, it's at least, some personal contact with another member.
So did they say that they're waiting for normal to return and then they'll come back to meetings?
Yes, that is a very common thing that I've heard when I've spoken.
Well, that's good, because otherwise we'd be fearing that they'd quit eventually.
True. And I will say, while we have some accounts receivable, it's not that numerous. It really is not that numerous. I mean, and that's what I would view as a huge warning sign. And that part of that has not occurred.
Jim?
Well,
thank you.
Yes, Lois.
Before we had Zoom, we used to have just conference calls. Are there people that would just dial in and listen to the conversation, may not see slides or faces, but before we had Zoom in the old days, we used to just have a lot of conference calls.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, I had, part of my professional organization across the country for decades, we did conference calls, and maybe people want to listen, but not look and see and, be seen.
Okay. Well, that's a great idea. And one of the things that Zoom allows you to do that. And I'll be honest, we really have never pushed that means of joining a Zoom call, but it certainly exists. And that's a great idea. And we'll make sure, in my next president's letter, I'll email, I'll make sure that everyone's aware that exists. That's great. Thank you. Any other questions, comments, suggestions, complaints? All right. Well, I thank you all for participating. Mike, did you have one?
I was just going to comment about individual club members reaching out to others to maybe bug them to Zoom. It's sort of like maybe you don't like to do it personally, but you're going to do it for somebody else. You're going to do it for somebody in the club who needs to see your face or who you're going to cheer up. I've seen 2 members recently, and they both said the same thing. I hate Zoom. I won't do it. Blah blah blah. But it was so great. It was a bump into them in the grocery store kind of thing. And it was so wonderful to see them. And we even emailed afterwards saying, God, it was so great to see you. And I realized how much I miss you and all of that. So, and then I bugged them. I said, well, that's what Zoom can do. Even if you don't like it, we get to see your face for a few minutes. So would you just try it at least once? And these are not, these are tech savvy people. They have smartphones. They know how to do it. So I think maybe if we just all reached out to some of people we know that we haven't seen to just say, hey, we understand you don't like it, but would you just try it once a month or just once in a while? Because you might cheer somebody up that needs cheering. Like it cheered me up to see this person at the grocery store. So I share that.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim.
I think that's a great idea. And I've been trying to FaceTime with Will King, and I know he has a difficult time with the Zoom meetings, but I will try to push him to do that. And it is great seeing everybody's face. And I know we're going to miss having our holiday social because we can't get together. I don't know if we should try to schedule a Zoom holiday cocktail hour where we could all just join in if we happen to be free and wear a Christmas sweater and share some cheer. It's an idea. I don't know how many people have free time, but I'm always up for a cocktail.
We will put that together.
Okay.
Okay, that's a great idea. Joe,
We
you
can
had
also
something?
we can also do some Christmas caroling.
We can also do some muted Christmas caroling, right? Joe, did you have something?
I guess that would be bring your own bottle for the cocktail.
We'll get a date and I'll send it out for our virtual cocktail party. That's a great idea. Thank you. Lori.
I attended a Rotary Club meeting on the peninsula by Zoom last week. And they did a lot of this chit chat back and forth like we're doing now, but they actually planned for it for like the first 10 minutes of the meeting. And it does loosen things up. I know you do it like if people arrive early to the meeting, but they do it as part of their meeting. And I don't know if you want to pose a topic or ask a question, but it is, it's nice to hear people just chit chat like we are now, anyways.
Okay, that's a great idea. What that would do was sort of maybe bridge the 30-minute time before an actual meeting occurred where we actually chatted with each other. So that's a great idea. Perhaps we can just.
We also could use the breakout rooms if we could figure out how to do it for a few minutes here and there where you're with a smaller group. You maybe have a little topic or something. I don't know.
Okay.
An idea for down the road. Maybe that's a program. I don't know where we, where you can ask. I don't know what the question is, but that we then report back. But it would let you be with a little bit smaller group.
Yeah. A friend of mine was telling me about he went to a virtual wedding where there were like 200 people invited, and then you went to your table, which was a breakout room for the table. And then they would like announce that there were certain events that they wanted you to come back from the table for, so that you could see, part of the main part. So Joey Rothgary, you and I are going to have to talk about A, my screen sharing skills, and B, how to create maybe breakout rooms.
Yeah.
All good ideas. Julie.
Yes, so my granddaughter, I should have put in Happy Bucks, but she's having a baby and we're having a Zoom shower on Saturday, and 66 people have already signed up for this thing. And all I can think of is how are we going to play those awful games that occur at baby showers? When you taste the baby food and all that. Oh.
So, okay.
I'll let you know.
I've hosted a baby shower, Julie. I'll be in touch with you via Zoom. And there is a way to play games and get information disseminated via email. Anyway, it can be done. And there are Zoom icebreakers that are sort of online that we can make use of.
Thank you.
It's a whole new Zoom kind of world, I think. We're making the best of it.
Okay, another Zoom trivia night. That sounds like that could be a great idea. Great idea. Anyone else? And again, we're open. There's, you know, we're open to suggestions, comments, questions, criticism. Well, I want to thank you all for participating again in this meeting and for your input, for your support. You know, I can't wait for us to all get back together again in person. As soon as that's possible, it's going to happen. And I miss you and can't wait to see you all again. I wish the members of our club of the Jewish faith, I wish you a happy Hanukkah. I believe that's starting up on Thursday evening, if I'm correct, and wish you all the best for the holiday season. Our next meeting is going to be on next Tuesday at 12:30, and our speaker is going to be Dr. Cynthia Romero, who's going to be talking to us about COVID-19 impact on the future health of our community. So we look forward to that. And thank you again for joining us. Thank you for your participation in the business meeting, and thank you for your input and support. We are adjourned. Look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.